Hello, everyone. So today I'm in a beautiful place, one of my favorite places nearby where I live. I'm at the beach. Beach. It's called Praia da Memória, so Memory Beach. And I want to share something related to what I shared in the previous video about how do we protect, again, quote unquote, our energy. But before I get into that, let me just show you around because I love this place and might as well share the beauty with the world. Look at that. It's a glorious day, and I'm in the walkway. Found lovely spots. Just enjoy the beauty and share this with you. And yes, before we actually go into it, if it's the first time that you're here, hi there. My name is Isabel Martins. I'm with the website HealthandNaturalLife.com, and I work with all things energy consciousness. It's my passion to explore, to play with, to discover how we work, how we work in terms of our physical body, emotional body, mental body, and all our subtle energy bodies and spiritual body, so that we can then have that conscious awareness and know how we can work with all of those levels of our being to fully be who we came here to be and to fully do what we came here to do on this gorgeous, amazing planet of ours. And if you've been here for a while, hi again, and you might have noticed how much I love this beautiful planet of ours. This beautiful earth is just a blessing that we get to experience every every day actually, because that here we are and we don't even realize how much of a blessing, how much of a magical place this is sometimes, because we're lost in space. So when I'm in a space like this in nature, my energy very naturally just starts expanding and opening, and I get into that open field mode that we talked about in the previous video about uh, being in the receiving and giving as well of the energy of our environment. And in a place like this, in nature, it's so beautiful and so easy to feel good, to be in that open, full communication space that we might not even notice sometimes that we are in that no-centered mode, because we are fairly present, but we might just be in our regular mode of being lost outside. When I myself notice that I'm in completely blissed out space, but not centered in myself, is when someone starts to approach. So if I'm walking in the walkway, if I'm walking at the beach, just present, connected with nature, feeling the energy, feeling the consciousness of the space around me. And by the way, if you love our planet and if you love animals and want to get into a perhaps even deeper level of connection, communication, and understanding with them, I have a playlist that I created quite a while ago that teaches us how to communicate with other life fields, so with our animals in particular. So if you want to check that out, that playlist is already on my channel, and it teaches us step by step really what are the skills to practice to get to back to our native communication, which is the communication of empathy, of energy, of meanings, of images, of sensations that is available. So should you want to play in that arena, please go and thoroughly enjoy it, because the more of us actually know how to connect deeply with these levels of nature and our animals around us, the happier we'll all be, and the more we care for consciously and for our planet, and realize that we are really a global life field family. So here I have a perfect example, people approaching. So I feel my energy immediately start to get into, whoa, pay attention mode. So there is a sense of tension and contraction that happens, and that's actually what I wanted to share with you today, is why do we do this? Why do we contract? First, there's that sense, ever since we were little, we feel that we need to put our attention outside to please the people in our lives or not anger them, because we know that there are consequences, and these are the people that take care of our own well-being. So we learn from very early on to not be centered, connected to our core, but to put our attention outside and monitor the circumstances, monitor especially people, to see if we're safe, if we're doing what they want us to do or not. But now, as adults, that energetic habit is still there, sure. But even when we have the awareness that that's not necessary anymore, there is the reconditioning of that habit, but there is still, and I'll speak for myself, a deep fear that somehow another person's energy might affect me. And I mean this in the sense of their criticism, their ill intentions towards me, even if they don't ever say or do anything. The fear is that energetically they can affect and attack me. And this is different for different cultures, but in my culture this is fairly common to have as a careful about that. So it puts us even more so in the place of defensiveness and trying to keep everyone around us happy, which will never happen because their happiness has nothing to do with us. So I wanted to share something that felt inspired by something I heard from Christy Whitman, actually. She had a podcast that she released recently that she was talking about how to deal with difficult people. And she was saying at some point that exactly this, the reason that we tense up, that we defend against other people, is because we feel that they have the power somehow to influence our energy stream. And although she meant it in a slightly different way, so she meant it in the emotional level, what I heard was really clearly that the fear is that someone else can influence my energy stream, so my core well-being, and that is never the case. No one can ever touch this deep level of our being, of our energetic anatomy, because this is as close as it gets to our own source. So there's nothing really in between the source and our own experience of it at this level. So we have our core star, we have our core line that comes from there, and then we have all the other layers of our light body, all the way through to the mental, emotional, physical body perspective. So when we are tuned to that deep level of our core, like I shared last week, if we want putting our attention at the top of our head, at the perineum, or top of our head and bottoms, soles of our feet, and feel the core of energy that runs through the center of our body, feel the pulsations that come from that core line, from our core star, our life pulse. When we are connected to that energy stream, we are connected to, I start getting distracted, butterflies, beautiful butterflies flowing by, floating, flying, flowing by. It's all the same. So when we're connected to this internal, deep level of our being, we don't really have anything outside that can interfere with it. The only thing that can interfere is our own mind disconnecting, displacing our energy to what's happening, our attention to what's happening outside, and that will change the way that we feel and kind of disconnects us a little bit from the experience of our core. It can never disconnect us, our attention. It might be wherever it is, but it can never disconnect us from our core. Otherwise, we would disappear. We wouldn't be here anymore. So when we actually choose to bring our awareness to our core, where we put our attention, that's what we will experience. So we all heard that where attention flows, energy glows. So there's the version, that saying. What it means is that what we put our attention in increases, but there's also the experience that wherever we put our attention is what we experience in our physical body and in our energetic layers. So for example, if this is the first time that you're coming across this concept, this experience, you might think, for example, when you're watching a movie and fully immersed, there might be people moving around you, there might be noises, there might be sounds coming from the outside, there might be cues even from your body that might be telling you, I want to go pee or I want to eat. And we might be completely oblivious to all of that because we're so focused on the experience of the movie that we don't even pay attention to anything else. The movie is our experience at that time. Everything else fades into the background. Same thing when we're talking with someone in a crowded space. When we're engaged in a conversation, if that conversation is where we have our attention, we will tune out everything else that's around us, unless something kind of sparks our attention that feels like danger or feels like someone calling our name. We might start to pay attention to that as well, but if not, we're fully immersed in the conversation, and that's our experience. For example, right now, my experience is you. I'm talking with you, and I have a beautiful surrounding all around me. If something catches my attention, like the beautiful butterflies, part of my awareness might go to them, and they are included in my experience, but everything else that's around me, beautiful as it is, it kind of fades a little bit into the background while I'm focused on our conversation, on you, on here. So wherever we put our attention, that's what we'll experience. And why can this be so important and so useful? It's because wherever we are, in whatever circumstance, with whatever person, however they might be feeling, if we choose to put our attention in these deep levels of our being, our truth, our core line, our well-being, it is the source of our life force, of our consciousness, of our well-being, of our inspiration, of everything, our divine blueprint and divine intentions. So when we put our attention in these deep levels of our being, our core line, that's what we'll start to experience clearer and stronger. And because that's where we put our attention, that's what will start being reflected more and more in our own outer experience. So we start to see things in our lives become much more harmonious, much more in flow, much more in line with our own divine intentions coming here into this planet in our own blueprint. So powerful. Choosing to put our attention at our core line, at our core levels, will have benefits beyond the quote-unquote protection of our energy. It will start as well being reflected in our reality. And the fact that we choose to put our attention time and again in our core levels, and it is a practice that does need to be repeated and reminded time and again, speaking from experience here. But the more that we do that, the more that we start noticing the results that we get from it, the more that we start to recondition the habit that we have of displacing our energy outside to scan for danger, and we'll be replacing and or installing or creating a new habit of being tuned to our core, to our truth, to our power, to our level of coherence, of presence, of embodiment. And that level of coherence, of really beautiful high frequency energy, our core, will start to create a new default of what we are in resonance with. So that's what again will start reflecting on our outside experience as people, experiences, inspirations, ideas, connections that have that beautiful quality of resonance, of lovingness, of presence, of power, of co-creation, of cooperation, of everything that reflects who we are at our core as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And do let me know what you think, where you feel that this might be useful for you. And again, if you love our planet and you love animals and want to chat more intimately with them, do check the playlist, animal communication playlist. And I would love to hear your thoughts on our beautiful planet as well. I think, yeah, the more that we can be reminded of the blessing that it is to live on this gorgeous, magical planet that we do, yeah, the more happy we all will be, and the more we bring that level of love to the collective consciousness as well, and we all benefit from it. So from me and the people that are coming to say hi as well, thank you for watching, thank you for joining me here, and I'll see you in the next video.